Hey, we got one in the room, so I guess we can begin the program. Welcome to the Low Budget Livestream. I am your host, the real Gino Reynolds, and this is just I think it's going to be a bi weekly thing where I just turn on the webcam and jump on YouTube and we just chat a little bit about some things. It's funny though, I think I picked the worst time to start a live stream because I am starting to get the weather change cruds. So I'm not sure how this is going to go, but I know something that's going to make me feel a little better. Uh, just like last time, we're going to enjoy a little bit of whiskey. And today I'm enjoying Johnny Walker White Walker Limited Edition. What's cool is if you freeze it, puts this winter is here on the side, kind of like that. But today, the last couple weeks, I've been trying to plan on what I'm going to do with this, and I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about. I was hoping to have another announcement for you guys about something I'm going to be doing, but not sure what's going to happen with that. But uh, it's funny how I'm going to get to this discussion because it involves a lot of different things. Um, let's keep it light. I'm going to talk a little bit about racism a little bit. Um, this past weekend, the TV station I work for, they started to get picketed. Hey, Zepser, what's up, buddy? Uh, they started to get picketed, and it was about us declining. And you have to excuse me, I'll have to look up the guy's name. We declined to cover U.S. Congressman John Lewis's visit to our city. Apparently, I don't know the story behind it. Um, I don't know why we didn't cover it. If it was a weekend, it may have been we were shorthanded. I don't know. But now the station's getting picketed every day, saying we have a racial bias. I mean, I can't speak for the hearts and minds of everybody I work with, but the ones that I know and know well, I can tell you, not really racist. Um, but it's just that happening and the season of Halloween coming up. It just made me think about some different things. Made me wonder, are we getting a little too sensitive? Because when I was a kid for Halloween, I know I'm going from my TV station's racial, is being accused of being racially biased to Halloween costumes here, but it just made me think about this week. When I was a kid, we could be whatever we wanted for Halloween. Whatever we wanted to dress up as. There was no problem. Uh, if I wanted to be, I've been Mario. I've been an army guy. I've been, whatever else. I've been a transformer. I've been many different things. And it doesn't matter. You can be whatever you wanted. But it seems like nowadays there's problems with what even kids can be for Halloween. And another thing that brought me to this, and though I'm not saying that blackface is okay, and it never is, but the whole discussion about Megan Kelly saying that also brought me to this too, because she was saying, uh, she said she said that blackface is okay back in my day or something along those lines. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. I mean, I think I know what she was trying to say. She was trying to say that she's like, if you're doing it for a part or something like that, like in a play or something. I think that's what she was insinuating. I haven't really followed a ton of it. Uh, but this whole thing, people are having issues with even kids dressing up as certain things for Halloween. The biggest one I remember was 2 years ago, whenever Moana came out, they had to take the Maui costume uh, off shelves because they were saying it was culturally inappropriate. And I kind of get what they're saying, but if my son wanted to dress up as Maui, I'm gonna let him dress up as Maui. Uh, I don't have an issue with it. I mean, no, I'm not gonna paint his face to match the costume, but if he wants to wear the fake tattoo, muscle suit, and he wants to, pretend to be the Rock in animated form, I don't have an issue with this. And so that was I always thought was weird because I mean, as I mentioned earlier, I was Mario for Halloween. I'm not Italian, so am I not? And yes, I know that's a game character, but it's just funny that I mean, are we getting a little too sensitive when it comes to this stuff, especially when it comes to kids? Because say my son said, "Hey dad, I want to be Black Panther." Am I going to say, "No, you can't?" No, I'm going to say, "Of course you can be Black Panther. Black Panther's awesome." And if my son wants to, they had costumes of The Rock from GI Joe. So can he not be The Rock? Things like that. It's just funny to me how people get a little too sensitive about that stuff. I mean, yes, if you, go to a party dressed up and you do blackface, then yes, that's not right. But, if you just dress up as something that you know, isn't your culture, I don't I don't see the problem with it. I mean, yes, there's like I said, there's lines, but not especially when it comes to kids. I don't understand why there's an issue. And people are, just getting all up in arms about stuff like that. And I don't know why. Josh B, how you doing? And thank you. I'm glad someone agrees with me. I'm sure there's plenty that agree with me out there. It's just that I just I don't understand why it's an issue, and especially when it pertains to kids, because whatever my kid says they want to be, uh, I mean, think about it. If your kid grew up even admiring a real life figure, like a historical figure, and they wanted to be like, say, if my son said, and this is just hypothetical, "Hey, Dad, I want to be John Henry for Halloween." I'm not going to tell him no. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to paint him up, but I'm going to let him be that person because he admires that person. If there's ill intent in said costume, like say you're going to a party and you're trying to be edgy or something like that by doing something, that's one thing. But if you're if you're just doing it and dressing up. I mean, think about it. There's plenty of actors in movies that they change the color of their skin. And yes, they lately they have been saying, yeah, maybe we should hire, people that are, if we need what was that was there was that stupid Egyptian movie where Joel Edgerton played the pharaoh. I don't remember which one it was. And they darkened him up and all that stuff and it looked weird and he wasn't really right for the part, but it was just that's acceptable, but then, you know, yeah, Halloween is about using your imagination and being something you're not. That's a good point, Josh. Um, but yes, I understand there's ill intent out there, and there people have done stupid stuff like go to a party and try to be, racy and edgy. But I just think that uh, people get maybe a little too overly sensitive about things like that. Yeah, that's what I've been thinking about this week. I don't know why. Again, those of you that haven't joined that weren't here at the beginning, I'm uh I'm drinking the White Walker Johnny Walker limited edition right now. Not too shabby. I don't know if it was worth what I paid for the bottle of it, but it's pretty good. If there's anything you guys want to talk about, definitely put it in the chat. We're just here to basically shoot the shit. Um, I I've just had last couple weeks. It's felt weird the last couple weeks because I didn't do a podcast last week, and that was the first time in almost a year I didn't do a podcast, and it felt weird not preparing for it. Um, and it felt weird not. I felt like I had too much free time, even though I was still really busy. Um, so yeah, it's the last couple weeks I've kept busy, but I felt like I wasn't accomplishing something because I wasn't working on my podcast. For those of you that are wondering, on Friday, probably about 8 p.m., I'm going to try to do the podcast live. We'll see how that goes. I want to do more live stuff because I'm tired of hiding behind recording. Uh, Recording, I get multiple chances. Doing it live, and as nervous as I am right now, I have to do it. I want to stop being such a wuss when it comes to being live, and that's why I want to do some more stuff live. I'm not going to say I'm going to do my reviews live. Maybe eventually, I don't know. Um, as I still want to have notes and things like that for my reviews and everything, and it's hard to make sure you get all your points across. Anytime I've done like live reviews with Brad, for example, part of me sometimes thinks, well, later when we're done, I'll think, oh, I forgot to say this or something like that. And when I write the stuff out, I'm able to make sure I get all my points across and everything like that. Um, but when I do it live, I need to get better at it anyway. And like I said, this is me trying to get over my fears of being in front of this camera and talking to people. And granted, there's 3 people watching right now, so hey, at least I have an audience, right? Um, but yeah, I'm trying to get over the fears. So we're gonna try a live podcast on Friday, and like I said, it'll probably be about 8 p.m. Central Time. And I've got a few subjects we're going to talk about there. We're going to talk about DC's plans, being that uh, they moved back Wonder Woman. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it. I'm glad one of us thinks that. No. um, we're going to be talking about how DC's plan because, uh, yeah, plans exactly. Um, because they're moving back Wonder Woman, they're moving back Flash. I think they're in a kind of a regrouping phase. We're going to talk about that. Got a few other subjects. I want to talk about Movie Pass being sued, the parent company being sued, I guess, for defrauding their investors. We'll probably talk about that. Got a few other things on the notes. Unfortunately, I do not have the notes in front of me. That was my fault. So that's what we're going to be doing there. Um, we're going to be on the channel. I'm going to be restarting up Gino's Bad at Games. I'm still trying to decide what I want to play. I've got it narrowed down to like 2 or 3 games, and I may put a vote up on Twitter. I'm not sure. Uh, Deciding what I'm going to play. I was going to play another military game, but it's like, well, I just played a World War I game, so we may go the fantasy route. So there's like 2 or 3 games I'm kind of debating over. Uh, when it comes to reviews, it's going to be a fairly busy weekend. We have Hunter Killer coming out. That's Gerard Butler's new sub movie. Be checking that out Thursday night. Friday, I can't remember the name of the movie I'm seeing because it's something I never heard of until today. It's got Amber Heard in it. Um, and not many theaters have it, but hey, the Decatur Theater does. And then on Saturday, Brad asked me to watch mid 90s and The Old Man and the Gun with him. And then since we didn't get it in Decatur while I'm in Springfield before I do that with him, I'll probably be seeing the new Johnny English movie, which man, I've seen the other, what was it, two, and I don't even remember those very much. So we'll see how that goes. But so that's the plans for that. One thing I wanted to talk about is my segment, Check Your Sources. I'm not sure if I'm going to be continuing it. I'm not getting a lot of responses from it. I know some people enjoy it, but I'm not getting a ton of responses from it. Um, I'll get maybe 2, 3 responses, and I know the people that are responding are having fun playing it, and I have fun coming up with the different rumors and making up a rumor and everything. It's a little tough because you have to make it believable, but not too. to this is really what I would like to see happen. You have to kind of find that middle ground. And I just I was hoping for some more audience participation, and if people like it, they like it. They don't, they don't. But if it picks up in response this next week, uh, I may keep going. I'm not sure. I'm still trying to decide on that. Um, thank you, Winces. I appreciate that. It's just something that it's taking time that I could use for other things. And if it were doing better, I could I could justify the time. But hey, hello, Lunar. Um, but anyway, I haven't decided. It's not a complete decision on whether or not I'm doing it or not, or going to continue it or not. But I'm trying to figure out what I want this channel to be. There's things I want to do, things I want to try. Um, and one thing I've been also thinking about, and I know I've talked about this before, but uh, this channel, one thing I've noticed about YouTube is that I think the day and age. Oh, hey Ryan, what's going on? I think the day and age of YouTube channels being able to grow is over. Now, I'm not saying that a YouTube channel can't start and gain traction and everything else. Um, but one thing I've been thinking about, even though it doesn't really bother me or anything, because I still have fun with what I'm doing, and I'm going to keep doing it because I enjoy it. Um, oh, yeah, Wences. Yeah, the BG Reynolds Broken Gino. I'll talk about that in a minute because I actually did want to talk about that. Um, what I'm not sure what I want this channel to be, but and though I would love to see the channel grow, I think the day and ages of channels getting bigger are over. Um, and that's honestly because while there still is a chance, when YouTube was newer, you didn't have big companies putting big money into it right away. Um, and though I'm not saying they don't deserve it, but when people like whenever that guy with the glasses started, and of course when Brad did start his doing stuff, and the nerd and things like that, I'm not saying there wasn't competition, but they were kind of pioneers of this internet video thing, or they'd be considered pioneers. But this day and age, when there's so much more money involved in it, and bigger companies are producing YouTube videos, and there's YouTube Red, and they're putting millions of dollars in production and things like that. And then also I mean, I'm the first to admit my channel is not original. Yeah, there's movie reviewers out there. Yeah, there's people that play video games online out there. We're just I'm just a guy being myself on YouTube. And I just don't see channels having this opportunity to grow anymore. Um because there's so much big money, and actors have YouTube channels, and you know I just don't see that being the thing. And that's why I've never uh I've never really considered doing this full time ever, because I don't like the uncertainty of it. I like working a job where I know I have insurance to where if my kids get sick, I can take care of them and things like that. But I still want to do this as a hobby, and I've always said if I finally get to that threshold, um, if I get to that threshold where I start making money, which I'm almost there. I've almost made that $100 threshold where I'll finally get money. They'll have to give me $100. Uh, I find that funny. I don't know. I don't know if I'll know what to think when that finally happens. But I just, I would never trust this website to be my job. And those that do it, I'm happy for you. I really am. I do feel some deserve it more than others, and some don't deserve it at all. But that's another thing. I'm not saying that I deserve it more. I'm just saying that there's some out there. There's some channels out there that are just why they're making money. I don't get. But But then you look at a channel like Brad's where I know he puts in the work and he puts in quality work and he's funny and he's entertaining and he deserves every bit of success he's got. Um, but I'm wanting to see the channel grow, so I'm trying to put the best stuff I can forward, but I don't expect anything out of it. But I've just been every now and then that pops into my head, and I always think about it. Um, but Once as you brought up, well, as you call it, Negagino, I kind of like that. Yeah, I started wanting to do. I thought of when that 50 Shades came up, or I can't remember if it was Pitch Perfect or 50 Shades was first. Um, but then I did that character and it was fun. Don't get me wrong. I had a good time writing in reverse. Everything I hated, I had to say I loved, and I had a good time doing it. But I got to a point where, see, I always told myself I didn't want to be a character. I just wanted to be myself, and doing that made me feel like I was trying too hard to be a character. And though there are still good characters on YouTube, again, cinema snob, I still watch Brad stuff to this day. I mean, I I'm not gonna say I grew out of certain channels or whatever, but there's just some channels that I don't think have changed enough uh, to really that I really want to watch them anymore. I'm happy they're still doing well, if you think of like James Rolfe and Stain and like the nerd, but I just I don't watch it much anymore. I watch the nerd every now and then. Uh, you know, I still support Brad because I think he's kept uh pushing forward and he changes up his character, and him getting married to Laura added a new thing to his channel and everything else. And he keeps trying to change things and make his movies and things like that. And I appreciate that. And I know he puts in the work. So I support him and I still watch his stuff, and his stuff's still good. But for me, doing that character, I had this feeling, and it's when I did the review for um Pacific Rim, the sequel, whatever. I can't remember what the subtitle was. Uh, I felt like the shtick was gonna just repeat itself, and I was just like, "Yeah," and that's when I started wanting to do talking movies because it's just, I was like, man, I don't want to become a character. I don't want to just keep repeating myself and making a funny voice, and though I had a good time doing it, and I'm not saying that I haven't wanted to do stuff with it. I've always had this idea. I've got this old love seat over here. You can't see it, and I don't want to mess up the camera because it took me forever to get it exactly how I wanted it. Um, I have this old love seat over here, and I thought about filming um, something, and the tentative title was something along the lines of like split personality reviews, where I would argue with myself. I would have me on one side and BG on the other, and they would be arguing about a movie. But then again, that fell into that character territory. Hello, black holes and avocado. Um, yeah, I thought, and I still might do this, and even if I didn't do it as a character, if I just argued with myself, I thought about doing that. Maybe that would be less character, so to speak. So yeah, as much fun as I had with that character, um, it was still a character, and honestly, the days. And, I'm not gonna say the days of characters are over, but I think kinda the days of new characters are over. And I'm not saying a new character can't succeed, but it's getting harder and harder for someone to come up with something original to be successful on YouTube. And like I said, like myself, hey Daniel, what's going on? I, I I'm just a guy. I just want to be myself. And like I said, I know I'm not totally original, but I'm just a guy trying to have fun doing this. And that's for me. That's what it's about. I'm going to mention to everybody, if you have anything you want to talk about, definitely put it in the comments. keep the conversation going. Zepser, and YouTube is unsafe and will never be. Yeah, I don't trust YouTube. Being even you hear about plenty of people having a lack of communication with YouTube, and they're the big YouTubers. Makes you wonder about the little guys. Um, so uh, yeah, I don't trust YouTube and I don't trust Google, even though I'm using their platform. I'm using it because it's free for me. So um, I could always drag in someone for an argument review. I've thought about that. A segment I've been thinking about doing, and I I talked to Brad about this because I said, Brad, do you ever wear costume? I'll get to that one in a minute. I talked to Brad and I said, I've got this idea for, uh, I got this idea for, uh, a segment, and I said, but I wanted to talk to you about it because I didn't want you to think I was stealing your idea. Uh, I used to travel a ton for especially movies, advanced screenings, and I wanted to do, and I did one when I went to see Logan, and I called it the Real Road Warrior, and I did it to where I talked about what I was expecting from the movie on the way, and then after the movie, I talked about what I could because, of course, there was embargoes and everything. I couldn't do like a full review on the road. It was hard to do because I had to mount a camera in the car and it kept falling and it was a pain in the butt. And I'm still trying to figure out a way to do it. But one way I thought about doing it was taking someone with me on the road and, either they hold the camera while I'm driving or vice versa. And, that would be the Real Road Warrior segment. On the way, we'd do the same thing. We talk about what we thought. And on the way back, we'd talk about what we were expecting from the movie. And then on the way back, we talk about the movie. And I said, Brad, I don't want to take your idea. I don't want you to think I'm stealing midnight screening. He's like, oh no, man, that sounds good. Do it. And I was like, okay, I'll do it eventually. So that's an idea I'm still considering. The problem is I'm sick of traveling because the last couple of years I've traveled. I mean, this year I definitely toned it down. I have not been to many advanced screenings in St. Louis. I got tired of driving to St. Louis. But I am still considering doing that. The only problem is my schedule and other people's schedules and things like that. It's always hard to find someone that can do it with me and make it a consistent thing. And if I could find a way to mount the camera where it wouldn't fall or it would look good at night and things like that, because if you go and watch that Logan Real Road Warrior thing, the audio is terrible. The video looks bad at night. I mean, there's just so many different problems with it. Excuse me. um So there's that. Let's see. Um, do I wear a costume at Halloween? Not really. I can't say I haven't in the last few years. Um, when I took we have this thing at our local zoo called Boo at the Zoo, and you can take your kids there, and uh, they have like little stations and candy, and they ride the ghost train and things like that. And I've dressed up for that. I dressed up as Kylo Ren a couple years ago. Sometimes I'll throw on a mask, something like that, and something simple. But do I? The last like real costume I dressed up as, like say to go to a party or something, was it's been some years ago now. I dressed up as Heisenberg from Breaking Bad, had the tape on the nose and the hat and everything. The hat that I gave to my buddy Bill Heisen Nerd for his channel is the hat that I wore for my Heisenberg costume. I was just like, I need to borrow it for a little bit, and then I'll give it to you. Um, so yeah, every now and then, but I'm not a big. I like Halloween. I like taking my kids out for Halloween. Do I really get in the Halloween spirit? Not really. Since I'm friends with Brad, did I hear about the channel Awesome Controversy? Yeah, and I'll talk about that for a second. I'll tell you everything I know, which is like nothing. All I can really say is this: I've heard about it. I skimmed over the doc. I've seen some videos on it. Um, but personally, do I know anything? No. I've met Doug once. Um, I met Doug once. He was the first person I ever interviewed I was at St. Louis Comic Con, and that was the first time I met Brad too. And I was supposed to interview him. I ended up interviewing him later at Wizard World. Uh, but I interviewed Doug there, and that was really my only interaction with him. The only other time I was in the building with him was at a C2E2. I talked to Brad, and then it was at when I went to go see the Nerd movie, the Angry Video Game Nerd movie in Chicago. Doug did the intro. I didn't talk to him. Bill Heisenerd, he went up and met him. That was years ago, whenever the Nerd movie came out. When it comes to the controversy of Channel Awesome or anything, I can just tell you this: the way I look at it, I don't know enough to really talk about it. Brad's my friend, and that's all I can really say because it, I he me and him I told him the only thing I asked him when that stuff started coming out was I said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "I'm good." And I don't like to get into that stuff. Now, if it turned out Brad was doing something, then I might feel differently, but from what I know, he has really nothing to do with it. That's all I can say I know about it. And I asked him, I said, "Look, I said, that I know there's a shit storm. Are you good?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm good." So that's all I can really say about the controversy. I can't say I've really met anybody else. I met Allison once when Brad and I were both in Springfield for it was like a month before Sing came out. That was when I sat with them all and I talked with her like for a couple minutes. So I can't say I really know Allison. Um, and I don't know anything about the two of them. Like I said, I don't talk to them about that stuff. We talk about other things. So I can't be more help when it comes to the Channel Awesome thing. I'm friends with Brad. That's all I really know. Um, I mean, if some of the stuff they're saying is true, that's horrible. And I'm not saying it is or isn't. I don't know. Uh, but yeah, Brad's my friend, and that's all the way I look at it. I don't think I've met anybody else. I talked with Lord Cat over Twitter a little bit years ago about something. I think it was about wrestling. Um, and I can't say I've really I've never met any of the others. So yeah, I really have not much more to say about it, unfortunately. I mean, I when it comes to YouTube and when it comes to life, I'm not gonna say I'm a totally private guy because I tell you guys things on here, but I there's just things that I just want this to be fun for me. So I try not to get involved in that stuff. If he wanted to talk to me about it, I'd listen. But of course, if he talked to me in confidence, which we haven't talked about it, I would tell you that. But yeah, there's really not much more I can say about the Channel Awesome thing. I don't know. I really don't know anything about it. I was in a Channel Awesome video once. It was the same event that I interviewed Doug. He was doing Transformers auditions. I can't remember. I think it was Transformers 2 or 3 he was doing a review for, I think. It wasn't, I don't believe it was the first one. And I was part of the audition tape. I actually have a link to that video on my GB3 family playlist on my channel if you want to see that. I should have a segment arguing against a troll. That would be fun. I When it comes to trolls on this, here's the thing. I don't get a lot of trolls in my comments. Knock on wood. But when I do, I try to be. If they say something just really dumb, um, I'll be a little sarcastic back to them. If they're trying to start an argument, I'll give them a chance to say, look, can we try to be cool on this channel? And if you want to have a good conversation, we'll talk. But if you're just going to be, a jerk, I'm just going to ignore you. But every now and then you want to argue with trolls. But the problem with arguing with trolls is it just doesn't end. And then of course you'll say something, and then maybe another troll will come in, and it's just a kind of, you look at the channels that have grown bigger. Um, Brad stopped doing Twitter and doing comments on YouTube because it was just getting really bad. It went from trolls to threats to, it just got bad, and he just got tired of dealing with it, so he stopped. As fun as it would be to argue with a troll, now if it were, say, a friend that is kind of a troll and we just had some fun with it, that would be one thing. But if you just keep arguing with trolls, it just keeps going, and I don't know if I want to deal with that. Um, Usually let's go with Zorro. Hey, Zorro is awesome. Let's see. Random comment. Have I ever been hit on by a dude? Uh, what did uh you did say keep? Oh, hey, you know what? Yes, I've been hit on by a few. The one that I can remember. Um, I don't think I was engaged at the time. I'm divorced now, but I don't think I was engaged at the time. But I was definitely seeing my now ex-wife, and yeah, we weren't we may have just gotten engaged, or we were going to be engaged soon, and she was moving to go to college out of her house, and um we did all that moving stuff, and then we went back and went out to dinner, and uh we went to Pizza Hut, and there was a waiter. There's a story behind this. Okay, we were moving our stuff in, and a drug bust happened in the parking lot of the apartment complex um, that she was moving into, and I took pictures of it. I didn't have a video camera on me, but I had my still camera on me, so I took pictures. And then when we got back to town, I went to work and said, "Hey, look, I got this picture of this. Like, four guys got arrested. They had a baby in the car. They had a bunch of drugs on them, and I even talked to the cops and everything. I got the story and I gave them all the information, and they ran the pictures on the news that night." Well, our waiter at Pizza Hut thought that was fantastic, and he was just, you know, my now ex-wife was not real happy about it, but I was just like, it's like, don't worry, I'm not gonna leave you for him. But I won't say I was flattered or disturbed or anything. I just thought it was kind of funny, mainly because of the way my my now ex-wife was was reacting to it was probably why it was funny. But that's the one I can remember. I know it happened a couple times when I used to work at Kroger, a grocery store, a long time ago, and I know it happened like two or three times there. Um, I'm sure there was other times. It doesn't bother me. I mean, I don't swing that way, but if you do, hey, whatever, that's cool with me. Um, let's see, favorite Brad video I'm not in. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I never really thought about that. The times I've got to work with him, I loved. I get to work with him again this weekend. Some of you weren't here. I'm doing a couple reviews with him on Saturday. I don't know what times yet. He just asked me that today. Um, when I get a chance to work with him, I enjoy it. As I've mentioned today, the reason I'm trying to do more live streams so I can stop being such a wuss when it comes to being live in front of a camera. So the more practice I get, the better I'll get, because I'm always really nervous when I work with him, because he's really smart when it comes to film, and though I know some stuff, he's way smarter when it comes uh talking about movies and things like that, and he catches more stuff than I do, and I like to think I know my stuff, but he knows way more than me, so I can't really think of one uh that I'd like to be in. I can tell you though, and I'm trying to work this out. I'm talking to him. um I gave him a movie to review, and I don't want to talk about because I don't know if he'll ever do it. But if he does it, I want to, for a cinema snob, I want to be in it. I just have a few ideas, and I think he might. It's because it's the movies about a subject that I understand probably more than he does, and I would like to be in it with him and help him out. Plus, I wouldn't mind being in it for a bit, and have a little fun with that. Um, let's see, where are we at here? Who are my some of my other favorite internet reviewers that have either influenced me or I just love to watch. I don't watch a lot of them anymore. I used to watch Jeremy Johns. I haven't really, and as I mentioned earlier, it was more of a. I'm just kind of. I haven't seen much change. I haven't watched a lot of Brad's or lot of Doug's stuff. I still watch Brad's stuff. He's about the only one I really watch. I wouldn't say really anyone influences me. Even though I've had times, like I said, I'd pick up a character or something like that whenever I was doing that for a little bit. I just kind of like doing my own thing. Um, I used to watch Stuckman. Yeah, I don't watch a lot of reviews anymore. Except for like I said, I'll watch Brad's. I just, yeah, I mean, I'll watch Double Toasted every now and then. Uh, but when it comes to time, I mean, I don't have a ton of time to do it. Uh, and I kind of like sticking with my own opinions. Uh, and then, I gotta, yeah, I haven't watched a lot of people. The last person that I probably watched was John's, and I haven't watched him for a long time. Um, let's see. Uh, uh, I'm guessing you're asking, did I go to Brad and Laura's wedding? I was invited, but I could not make it. I was gonna go, and then there was a last minute family thing. I couldn't, unfortunately, make it. I felt really bad because I was like, yeah, I'll probably be there, and then I couldn't. Besides Brad, do I have any other friends on YouTube? My friend, and he's been my friend for a long time before YouTube. That's Bill. His channel is Heisenerd, Heisenerd. He has a gaming channel, and every other week on his channel, on Mondays, we try to do a gaming live stream. Last Monday we played a game called Phase Shift, which is basically like a Guitar Hero. And you can see how bad I am at those games if you want to check out that video on his channel, or I put it in the GB3 family playlist on my channel. I'm not really close with anybody else. I haven't really met a lot of them, so I mean, I'd love to work with more people. I've talked with a few people. Uh, you know, I did a video with Narcotic Casserole. That was fun for his channel. He was doing his review of the Apple, and he does a program called the Cinema Schlock Society, where he gets a group of friends together and they talk about movies and stuff. Definitely check out his channel. Um, but have I like really met and befriended a ton of them? Not really. I haven't really had the opportunity because a lot of times I've just worked on my own. So yeah, I don't have a ton of like YouTube friends. Let's see. Uh, what apartment building doesn't have drug use in it? And, these are actually not bad apartments. The people, the bust was, they were driving through the parking lot. It didn't have anything to do with the apartment itself, but they followed them into that. So yeah. But anyway, let's see. As I said earlier, this is a terrible time for me to start a live stream because I'm getting the weather change crud. Um, if you guys got anything else you want to talk about, definitely put it in here. Let's see. Brad is going to force me to watch Indivisible and Johnny Strikes Again on Saturday. Actually, no. Um, Me and Brad, he asked me if I wanted to see mid '90s, which is something I really wanted to see, and he asked me if I want to see The Old Man and the Gun. Um, and so that's what we're going to be watching. But I will be seeing Johnny English on Saturday because it didn't come to Decatur for some reason. We got Hunter Killer, and we got some weird random Amber Heard movie that no one's ever heard of, um, but we did not get Johnny English. Guess this town don't like James Bond spoofs. I don't know, but but yeah, I had a feeling he was going to ask me to see Johnny English, but and then I got the text for those two. I'm like, heck yeah, I'll do that on Saturday because those are two movies, mid '90s and The Old Man and the Guns, two movies I want to see. Hello, Christopher. Let's see. With the Grinch coming out in a few weeks, how many Illuminations films have you seen? I think I've seen them all. Um, if I mean, you got the three Despicable Me's, I've seen them. I can't remember. what all they got? They got Sing. I've seen. I can't remember all their movies, but I'm sure. Oh, of course, Minions. Who hasn't seen Minions? God, that movie. Um, I was like, the end of Minions should have been the entire movie when Gru showed up, and then we got Despicable Me 3. Thanks, Illumination. I can't remember what all they've had, but um, they're not my favorite. One thing I'm really curious about Illumination though is since they've got the rights to do the Mario movie now, to do a Super Mario movie whenever that is going to come out. I'm really curious. Of course, there's going to be a minion joke in there where there's a minion suit or something, or Mario's wearing, blue overalls with yellow shirt, right? There's going to be something like that because they had the Secret Life of Pets too. I've seen that one. I know that one. I can't remember all their movies. Let's see, Despicable Me 1, 2, 3. Hop. I didn't see Hop. I did see the Lorax, Secret Life of Pets, and Sing. Yeah, I've seen. I don't think I saw Hop. I think that's the only one. Um, then again, I forget some of the movies I've seen. Um, but yeah, the yeah, and I know Brad's talked about this too, but Illumination is so bad at just cramming uh their newest movies advertising into their movies. Secret Life of Pets had so many Sing references on buses and billboards, and uh who knows what the Grinch is gonna have. But I am curious to what they're gonna do with Mario. Um, and that's not to say that their animation's bad or anything. I think they do a great job at animation. I don't dislike all their films. I like Despicable Me 1 and 2. I hated 3. I hated Minions. Sing was okay. I like Secret Life of Pets, but I mean, it wasn't fantastic. I'm a dog guy, so of course, that was fun for me. I despise the Lorax. I remember when I was doing reviews for the TV station I work at the time when the Lorax came out, and boy, you would have thought I started World War Nine when I talked about the Lorax because I ripped into it for the whole political thing, and people were like, "You're just whining about the political nature of it," and I said, "Fine." I did a second review of it, and I ripped it for everything else it did. So that movie just has, and it just takes the original spirit of the book and just flushes it down the toilet. And plus, I love how they talk about nature and not being corporate or anything like that. Yet, how many commercials had like Lorax themes to it? There was car commercials and a few other things. It's like, aren't you kind of contradicting your own message? But anyway, let's see. It'll probably be better than live action Sonic movie. Probably. The only thing I'm really curious about the live action Sonic movie is I want to see the Jim Carrey Dr. Robotnik. I'm really curious. Is he gonna get in a suit? Is it gonna be CG? I'm willing to bet he's gonna go full on suit, and I'm really curious about that. Do I want to see the movie? No, but am I curious about that part of it? Yes, I am. Not sure if I'm a reality TV dude. John Morrison on Survivor. You know what? If that dude that dude can probably do it. I mean, he's in phenomenal shape. They'll probably vote him off quick if they can. Is it like a celebrity thing or is he just doing like a random one? Um, but if he like fails, I don't watch a lot of reality TV. But if I would say if he fails one of the challenges or whatever, they'll probably vote him off because he'd be a threat the entire time. Yeah, Illumination is all about its merch. Whenever Toys R Us was open, they had pretty much a whole Illumination aisle there for a while. It had everything from Secret Life of Pets uh to Despicable Me stuff. I mean, Minions as far as the eye can see. um let's see, the Toads are definitely going to be the new Minions. The Toads. uh what Toads? um Let's see. Nintendo will probably keep a close eye on what they do. Oh God, I hope Nintendo keeps an eye on it. I mean, as much as I love to watch the live action movie, I know it's not a good movie, and we all know it's not a good movie. Um, but uh, but yeah, I hopefully they keep an eye on it. That would be the smart thing. Um, they've been putting out billboards of the Grinch in various cities, tagline "Rent is cheap here. Good luck getting Hamilton tickets." Man, that they are pushing the Grinch so hard, and I don't even think it comes out in December. Um, which is kind of surprising. I figured it'd be a December movie. I mean, being that it is the Grinch. Uh, but the advertising there for a while, at least at AMC theaters. I don't know about other theaters. Between each and every movie preview, they would have the Grinch. Uh, oh, the Toads and Mario. Sorry, Zebstern. I'm little tired. They they would have the Grinch. It'd be like, here's a preview, and here's the Grinch going, I gotta go get popcorn, and just between every, and he would do something between every different preview, and it's just got old really quick. I in that movie, I think I thought the dog was gonna be the minion, but everyone loves the dog in the Grinch. It's whatever that other animal he has with him. I'm not sure what a yak, whatever it's supposed to be, but uh that I think that's gonna be the minion, of the Grinch movie. But yeah, Toad, yeah, unfortunately, Toad is probably gonna be the minion. Um, I thought it would be the Goombas myself. Heck, maybe it's gonna be both. I don't know. I thought it'd be the Goombas, though. I was watching Game Grumps play the new what is it, Super Mario Party, and they one of them played as the Goomba, and I was like, "Oh god, that is a minion." But I could see the Toads having, because the Toads talk, so I could see them having a little more personality versus the Goombas, which will probably just go, "Rah," something like that. Um, with the new Sonic movie, I'll admit Ben Schwartz's perfect choice for Sonic. Yeah, I don't hate the casting in that movie. I just the hybrid movie to me, I mean, you think about your chipmunks and things like that. Paddington is fantastic. I think the Paddington movies are the exception to the rule to the mixing live action with CG type movies like that. But I don't know how Sonic's gonna be. How much of it's gonna be, how many is it just gonna be Sonic? Or are they gonna have Tails and Knuckles and all them? I mean, it sounds like they're doing exactly what they did with Smurfs, because I know they've said they have some human characters in it. So is Sonic coming to Earth? I have a feeling that's what it's gonna be. When we have no original ideas, or we don't want to use the ideas from the game, let's just bring them to Earth. And I have a feeling that's what the Sonic movie is gonna do. Um, so I'm not real excited for it. Again, I'm curious about Jim Carrey as Robotnik. I heard Toys R Us coming back. I've heard little bits and pieces there about that too. I haven't heard really anything real concrete about that. I know that KB was talking about coming back because someone bought the name KB Toys and was talking about bringing up spot stores for Christmas, and then seeing how it went. And if it went well, they'd open full. But God, I miss Toys R Us already. I used to take special trips to go to Toys R Us because we never, for a while, we had one in Indicator, um, but then they closed that years ago. And I've always had to go to Springfield or Bloomington or Champaign to go to Toys R Us. So anytime I went to those towns, it was always a special trip to go to Toys R Us. Um, let's see. Uh, oh yeah, like Daddy's Home too. A lot of Christmas movies come out in November. I think it's because they want to they want to just have a little bit of momentum, say the movie is good, and then people might see it over the holiday season, or B, they don't want to compete with, I mean, there was a couple years ago, like 7 movies came out Christmas week. That was a busy week at the theater for me, and I saw every single one of them. I can't even remember what came out that year, but I just remember there was a ton of movies, and it's hard to compete at the Christmas season because everyone uh, wants that wants that spot. And then a movie like Daddy's Home 2, or you think the Grinch could be able to would be able to compete at Christmas. I mean, it's how the Grinch stole Christmas. So, you know, I don't know. It's probably just a momentum thing. They just want to. I'm willing to bet they probably want to capture more Thanksgiving crowds because a lot of people go to movies on Thanksgiving. Um, thoughts on we talked about live action Sonic. Um, yeah, I think it's supposed to be kind of a buddy cop film, but I don't know where it's taking place, if it's taking place on Earth or what. Um, I don't know. Yeah, the Smurfs movies are bad. I didn't hate the last one, the fully animated one. It felt more like Smurfs versus the live action Smurfs movie, which I hated those movies. I thought the first one was bad, and then I saw the second one. Um, yeah, we don't know if Jim Carrey's CG or not. I'm willing to bet he'll go full like he did for the Grinch. He'll go like it'll be full suit. Um, but at least our town got Red Lobster. Yeah, but I can't afford to go there. But I do love me some Red Lobster, and I have to stay away from them. I'm I don't want to share too much. I've just been trying to do better, um, and I don't want to and I've talked about having a personal conversation with a friend over here, and I don't want to embarrass them if they want to keep it private or whatever. But I've been inspired to work harder to try to not be so out of shape anymore. And I've done really good for like a week or so. And you know who you are. So when you watch this, you'll know who you are. And you're definitely an inspiration because you kept at it and made me want to kick my own ass and do better. I'm just trying to eat better and eat less. I can't really, my body's not letting me move real well right now. But if I can lose a little bit of pounds, then I can start moving a little better again. Because I'm in a lot of pain when it comes to moving sometimes, and it's my own damn fault. Um, but no, I've been really inspired by a friend of mine because they're kicking their own ass and gave up a lot of stuff, and it's inspired me to really kick my own ass. And though I think I've inspired them with good talk, they've inspired me with their actions. So I'm trying my damnedest to do better. So yes, I love me some Red Lobster, and I love me them damn biscuits and just about everything else. What really made me mad was I don't love Olive Garden. I'd never gone to Olive Garden and said, "Man, I'm glad I went to Olive Garden." But I did uh drive by there, and they have their never ending pasta bowl, and that was the only time I ever really enjoyed going there. They have it right now, so I had to flip them the bird when I drove past them last time. Let's see. Everyone does. Well, you got Aquaman, you got Mary Poppins this Christmas. You also have Bumblebee this Christmas. Um, and I'm actually looking forward to Bumblebee because of it looks like G1 Transformers. So Mary Poppins, I'm curious about. I'm curious how they're going to handle that. Aquaman, that last 5 minute preview really didn't do much for me. But I'm looking forward to seeing it. I took vacation the week that Aquaman and Transformers comes out. And I think Mary Poppins does come out that week too, so I'll probably see it too. But uh, I took some vacation so I could see those. I'm probably going to travel to see Aquaman and Transformers. Hey Desiree, what's going on? Speaking of Smurfs, any Sony animation films you generally like? Honestly don't remember what all Sony did. And unfortunately, the way I'm doing this YouTube thing, I can't look it up without killing the stream. But if you know the Sony films, list them there, Ryan. I'll give you my thoughts on them. Spider Verse looks amazing. Um, that I'll tell you what. When I saw Venom, and here's Venom spoilers, kids. They had the mid credit scene, and then they did. Um, like a 5 minute Spider Verse. It had to be from the movie, and I loved it. So I love the animation. I love that Nick Cage is Noir Spider Man. I love Spider Ham. I like the idea. Um, I like that idea. I like that aspect of this Sony Spider Verse. I think they should just do it all that way. I think it'd be so much better. I'm really looking forward to that one though. Let's see. Yeah, after every Transformers movie, uh, I was not ready for Bumblebee. And then they had that one scene in the last Transformers movie, and I thought that was what the Bumblebee movie is going to be. They showed him fighting during like World War One or World War Two. I'm like, okay, that's a cool idea. But then they're like, oh, it's going to be in the 80s. Okay, well, that's Transformers. And then we got the preview, the first preview. I'm like, okay, you got my attention. Michael Bay's not involved. You definitely got my attention. And then the trailer that had uh, Shockwave and Soundwave and Ravage and Optimus, and I'm just like, this movie better be good. Michael Bay's not there. Let's finally do it right. Yeah, for Mary Poppins, I could see Lin Manuel nailing the music. Um, let's see. Oh, the four Transformers is the closest one. Uh, I would say, oh man, I want to walk out all of them. The only real enjoyment I got out of Michael Bay's Transformers was in the third one. The Transformers felt more like the Transformers, the Autobots anyway. The fourth one was awful. They ruined. I had to make a meme picture with Grimlock that says "Me Grimlock, no like Michael Bay," because they ruined the Dinobots. And heck, they barely had them in this last one. And all of a sudden, hey, by the way, the Transformers are involved in the Arthurian legend. Um, so yeah, I what was crazy about that last one? Was that five? That was the fifth one. Where they had this overly long, stupid movie, and those were the fastest credits that I've ever seen. I could not believe it's like, whoa, the credits are done and I can leave. Great. I was very happy. Maybe that was a mercy kill by Michael Bay. I don't know. Um, let's see. Okay, we got open season one, two, and three. I haven't seen those. I've seen Surfs Up one. I don't believe I've seen two. I like the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs one. I think I thought two was okay. I don't remember. I hated the Smurfs 1 and 2. I thought the Smurfs animated one was way better. Let's see, Arthur Christmas. I don't think I saw. Man, I haven't seen a lot of Sony stuff. Pirates. I don't think I've seen. The Hotel Transylvania movies. I liked the first one and the second one. The third one was okay. Um, I think I was just a little tired of those. Let's see, Goosebumps 1 and 2. Goosebumps 1 and 2 were, I think fans probably enjoyed them more than I did. I could see people enjoying them. Emoji Movie, my review for that was literally me typing on my or texting on my phone, this movie is shit. Of course, with the Patrick Stewart emoji. And then The Star I did not see. So man, I missed a lot of Sony stuff. Let's see. Yeah, Nicolas Cage. Yeah, it was great that he finally got to be Superman and a Spider-Man. Um, Peter Rabbit. Oh yeah, I liked Peter Rabbit a lot. Um, Angry Birds and Monster House don't count. Angry Birds I thought was okay. I didn't like it, but it was okay. Monster House, I don't know if I saw. Um, you know, yeah, Stanley Tucci was definitely cashing checks for those Transformers movies. Um, because he was in what, two or three of them as different characters. And Marky Mark, man, I like Mark Wahlberg in certain movies, but then Transformers, when he started talking about I'm trying to keep my daughter, stay away from my daughter. It's Transformers movies should not be about humans being able to take down Decepticons. Um, go get daddy's sword, honey. I just those movies. Oh my, I'm glad that Michael Bay is done with those. Of course, now there's rumors that he may be getting involved in GI Joe, the whatever rebooter they're doing of that. Stop, Michael, stop. Um, let's see. That's just it. Well, I didn't think you'd be able to ruin the Dinobots either, Zepsern, but he did it. The Dinobots, you had them in dinosaur form, and I actually thought they had decent designs for them, even though I thought, just like all the other Transformers, they were uh, they had too many moving parts to them, and then you would kind of lose their details and their color and everything. Um, but they took all the personality away from him. They didn't let him transform. They didn't let him talk. But yeah, Dinobots. You think they get it right, but no, definitely not. Yeah, and Unicron is Earth. Someone was telling me, I can't remember who, they said that in one of the Transformers cartoons, that was kind of a thing that Unicron was involved with being Earth or something. They said it worked much better in the cartoon. I can't remember which one it was. Excuse me. um, but yeah, it definitely did not work. Uh, definitely did not work in the movie. Whenever they showed that, I just put my face in my hands, shook my head, and then the credits were over, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm leaving." Um, let's see. Yes, Peter Rabbit was definitely badly advertised. I thought that movie was gonna suck, but it's a damn good time. Worst animated movie I've seen in the theater. Ugh. Off the top of my head, I'm sure there's others, but Rock Dog would probably be the one I think off the top of my head. Oh yeah, Michael Bay is producing live action Dora the Explorer movie. Um, I Here's the thing: if he stays away from it, I think that has a chance to be good. The girl that's playing Dora, for some reason, I can't think of her name off the top of my head. Um, she's proven that she can be. I mean, she was really good in Sicario too. That she's and plus she loves that part. They released the picture. I thought the picture looked the way it was supposed to. If Michael Bay was directing, first of all, she's underage, and I went into a rant about this because she was in the last Transformers movie, and he had her. Yeah, it's the same girl as in Transformers Five, and he had her in tight clothes running around a lot, and she's underage, and that made me sick. Um, and I think she showed that she has acting chops in Sicario too, and I really, if he stays away from it, if he lets the director, whoever's directing it, do their job and stays away, and he just puts money behind it and stays away, it might be okay. Because I believe Michael Bay is still a producer on Bumblebee, but it doesn't look like he had any say on what they look like or anything. And plus, I think they're soft rebooting that anyway. Um, but yeah, I'm hoping that they keep. I know they're not going to have Dora looking at the camera and saying, "Do you see where the bridge is?" or whatever. I don't think they're going to be doing that, but I I think they could have a fun adventure film for kids and adults alike if they have the right people handling it. So, I don't know. I am worried about it, but at least from that first picture they released, she looks like Dora. I didn't see a live backpack on her. She had a backpack on, but I didn't see a face on it. I'm not sure what they're doing with Boots and Swiper and things like that. Swiper was always my favorite. Um, so I'm wondering how they're going to handle that. I don't want them to do the hybrid CG. I would rather see, and like Desiree said, a live action Monkey Boots. I would rather see that, and just make a fun adventure film. That's really all you can really, I think, hope to get out of a Dora film. But who knows what they're doing with it? All we've seen is one picture. It's being written by the guy who did Getting Sarah Marshall and Neighbors, directed by a guy who did the new Muppets movie. Well, I like Sarah Marshall. I like Neighbors. Hopefully, they'll keep it a little, a little nicer, because I imagine it's going to be a PG movie, maybe PG-13. I didn't like the second Muppets movie. Um, talking about, or if you're talking about Most Wanted, I wasn't a big fan of that one. I ripped into that one in my review. I love the Resurgence Muppets movie though, the one that Jason Segel helped write. Um, Nicholas Stoller is writing a Dora movie. He wrote stuff like the recent Muppets movie, Storks, and you know, Storks was middle of the road for me. I didn't like the new Muppets movie. I liked the first one, but the second one felt like just one of those made for TV ones with a lot of bigger name stars. And I loved Captain Underpants because they actually used potty humor right, and it felt like the books. So hopefully he does a good job. Yeah, I think the only reason it may be a little weird seeing an older Dora, but um, I I think they're trying to hit that middle audience, uh, and they probably rely. I mean, she looks young, so she can probably. I mean, she's probably not going to be playing a 13-year-old. She's probably going to be playing her age, and I think there's a newer Dora cartoon anyway where she's older. I know my sons watched it, um, but what's funny is, and I can't remember who started it. There was that YouTube series where that they had like 2 or 3 episodes where they had, I think it was College Humor or Funny or Die that did, like an older Dora, and it was like edgier. I can't remember who did that though. Um, let's see, what kind of budget would they give that movie? I don't know what they're giving that movie. I'm willing to bet Nickelodeon put some money behind it though, especially since it is Dora. What kind of animated kid shows my son like? Well, if it's animated, if it's cartoons moving on a screen, they like all sorts of stuff. Right now, I can tell you my youngest is into Ben 10 a lot. When he's not playing Mario games or Minecraft, he's into Ben 10. And I think that's what a lot this Christmas is going to be a lot of Mario and Big Ben 10. My oldest son is watching, and it just popped up on Netflix not too long ago. It's a Cartoon Network cartoon. I mean, he watches a ton of stuff. Don't get me wrong. He's really big into Daniel Tiger and a lot of PBS stuff. Just about anything PBS has, he'll watch. But he's into this show called We Bare Bears. And if you haven't seen it, I do recommend it because there's a lot of stuff in there. It's kind of like, I'm not gonna say it's like Gravity Falls, but it has that it can be for adults or for children kind of vibe like Gravity Falls did. Um, and it's actually a really entertaining show. They only have one season. I think it's season 3 on Netflix right now, but he's been really enjoying that show. They're like 10-minute episodes. I don't know how they air them on Cartoon Network, but it's a really enjoyable show. And if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Let's see how much Spanglish is going to be in Dora. Probably a lot. I have a feeling she's going to be word replacing, kind of like Dora does. Speaking of Nickelodeon cartoons, we're getting another SpongeBob movie, and it's an origin movie. I thought they did that on the cartoon. Um, the SpongeBob movies, the only one I can really remember is the newest one, though, where they went and fought Antonio Banderas over the recipe for the Krabby Patty. Um, I remember hating it in the theater, but then I watched it with my kids and I enjoyed it. Maybe I just because I remember walking out of the theater and I had a migraine afterwards. But yeah, man, SpongeBob's just that cartoon that whether you like it or not, it ain't going away. Let's see. I do like Robot Chicken. I don't really get to watch it. I do catch clips on YouTube though. Um, this is a really good year for Spider-Man. Um, oh, for the cartoon. I haven't got to watch a lot of that newer stuff. The only new cartoon I watched that Disenchantment on Netflix myself. I watched The Dragon Prince. I really enjoyed that. Tried to watch the new Gundam that was on Netflix. Couldn't really get into it. Um, I watched the first 3 episodes of Star Wars Resistance. That show's gonna have to sell me because right now I'm not sold on it. Um, I think they're finally once they finally get into it, I think it'll be fine. But the first 3 episodes I thought were okay, but I didn't think they were great. Let's see. Speaking of PBS, what were your favorite PBS show when I was young? What's my son's favorites? For me, it probably would have been like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Sesame Street, of course. Those are the ones that really stick out. Like I said, my youngest son won't watch a lot of that stuff. My oldest son, like I said, if it's on there, he'll watch it, whether it be the Odd Squad, which I know it's not cartoon, but um, yeah, I mean, Wild Kratts loves Dinosaur Train. Uh, Anything they'll show. He on his little, I call it an iPad. It's a little something else. I can't remember what it's called. It's not an iPad, but it is an iPad. he has the app on there, and he can watch the live TV, and he'll every night he'll be like, okay, what are they showing at 6? Oh, I get to watch Daniel Tiger at 6, and he gets excited about it. So, um, yeah, he'll watch just about anything. Right now, I think Daniel Tiger is probably his favorite, but then again, he'll watch also stuff off of PBS. He likes PJ Masks and uh, Paw Patrol every now and then, and there's all sorts of things that he really enjoys. Um, yeah, Jason Lee as Charlie the Bigfoot is fantastic. And I like Patton Oswald as what is it, Nom Nom? I think the koala. That one's pretty funny too. They'll watch SpongeBob. I'm not sure what Loud House is. They haven't really watched Rugrats. I did try to get my youngest son in The Last Airbender. I don't think he was ready for it though. We're gonna try again because I know he would enjoy that show. I love The Last Airbender and I love Korra. Um, I know that one took a little bit to get going, but once it did, it was fantastic. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna try Last Airbender again. They're just if they see something that they think looks cool, they'll definitely check it out. Let's see. Let's see. Favorite Cartoon Network shows, old and current. Old, probably Robot Chicken. I didn't really get to watch a ton of Cartoon Network. I mean, I would watch. I'm not even sure what all they had. I honestly, I don't have Cartoon Network now. I'd have to say it's probably We Bare Bears because that's the only one I've really seen. Though I do like that show. Oh, the Teletubbies. I thankfully skipped the Teletubbies. My kids really didn't see them. I'm very happy about that. Um, my son does have it. My oldest son does have a thing for Barney, and he got into the Wiggles for a while, um, which I was never a fan of the Wiggles, but I right now they've changed them up and they actually see. I'm part Australian. My grandma was full Australian, and uh, I have a thing for the uh female Australian accent, and they have a female Wiggle now, and she's really cute, and I love her voice. So anyway, I can tolerate the Wiggles now if my son wants to watch it. Let's see, favorite Muppet and favorite Sesame Street Muppet. My favorite Muppet is would be Fozzie, and my favorite Sesame Street Muppet is Grover, and it will always be Grover. I love Grover. That's when even when my kids were babies, I do my Grover voice, and I can't do it now. Maybe when my throat feels better, I do my Grover voice, and I would sing near far for them. And you can definitely make a baby giggle by singing near far and having a Grover stuffed animal. Um, I've never heard of Puzzle Place. Uh, yeah, I don't know what Puzzle Place is. Uh, what would you rather have your kids watch, the Teletubbies or 50 Shades series? I'm not gonna torture my kids. It'd be Teletubbies. Besides, my kids are 9 and 10. They're not ready to learn that yet. Um, do you guys got anything else you want to talk about? If not, I my voice is about to go, I think, but I'll survive if you got something else you want to talk about. Again, a reminder, um, on Friday, unless something comes up, I'm going to be trying to do a live get on the mic. On Friday, it's probably going to be around 8 p.m. I'm still trying to figure out how this whole live setup works on YouTube. But so I've been trying to schedule things, but they're not showing up on the schedule, I don't think. But I'm going to try to do a live get on the mic on Friday at 8. We'll see how that goes. Definitely have if there's things you want to talk about, have it ready. I'll have a few stories we can talk about, so we'll have fun with that. Also, a reminder over on Brad's channel on Saturday. I don't know what times I'm going to be seeing the old man in the gun with him, and I'm going to be seeing mid 90s with him. He just invited me that today, but I don't know what time yet. Um, so keep an eye on that. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm trying to do for Gino's Bad at Games. Got it down between 2, 3 games. And then I just put up my reviews for The Hate You Give, The Sisters Brothers. And also, if you haven't participated on Check Your Sources, if you want to see that segment stick around, make sure to comment on it. If I don't get, if I don't, if I don't have a lot of interaction, I'm gonna probably not do that segment anymore. But I do kind of want to still do it. It is fun. Let's see. Let's see. Where was I? Are you gonna get your kids to watch Fraggle Rock? Already have. Me and my oldest watched a lot of Fraggle Rock at the time when I had Amazon. It was on Amazon Prime, and yeah, he anything. He's like me. Anything Henson he digs. If it's more Sesame Street than anything, but he liked Fraggle Rock. He liked the Muppets. Haven't tried like Dark Crystal yet. I don't think he's ready for that. But yeah, I do love me some Fraggle Rock. Wembley is my favorite, by the way. Let's see. Let's see. Both haunted house movies in a row. Gonna dress. No, I will not be dressing up for Halloween, unfortunately, unless I find a mask somewhere. Halloween this year is going to be a little difficult for me and the kids, just trying to figure out when and where we can do things. They put Fraggle Rock on HBO Go. That's awesome. I know they had the Sesame Street stuff on there, so that doesn't really surprise me. That's cool though. I love Fraggle Rock. Um, you should ask Brad to see if he'd let your kids join midnight screenings for The Grinch and Wreck It Ralph too. No. What's funny with, and I think I've talked about this before. Brad told me one time when we were doing one of his fundraiser live streams, like, oh, I was like, I've got the kids. I can only come for a few hours. He goes, oh, go ahead and bring them. And I said, yeah, no, you wouldn't want them running around. They definitely would have hijacked the stream. My kids can get a little hyper. My youngest sometimes says some things he doesn't understand. He's saying stuff he shouldn't. Uh, so yeah, probably not going to do that. Let's see. Outside of Sesame, Fraggle, Muppet, what is your favorite Henson shows? I think an underrated Henson show for me, even though it took me a while to grow on it, would probably have to be Sid the Science Kid. My son loves that one too. The animation's kind of odd, but it was CG Henson. Uh, so yeah, I'd have to say it's that one. I mean, if I'd had a list, I could probably pick out some more. Um, but yeah, I enjoyed watching that with my kids. But for me, really, it's those the top three are definitely Sesame Street, Fraggle Rock, and Muppet Show. Bracket call it Midnight Screens Kids since there was Midnight Screens Live, Midnight Screens LA. It would be funny. I've told my kids I did a review. It's when I did Ferdinand. I had Andy on there because he's a John Cena fan, and he was so excited about it, and then he got to do it, and he was so nervous. Um, so I don't know if he was ready for it. And then I had my youngest son do a video game. We played both the Turtles games, and um, sometimes he got a little too I don't know, a little too rowdy because he was a little excited for it. I mean, he sometimes he doesn't watch what he says, and sometimes he says some things he doesn't understand. He's saying things bad, and you know, so yeah, I gotta be careful with them and putting them out there. And plus, I just don't want to put my family out there too much anyway. Um, let's see, Christopher, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Let's see. Another Jim Henson Company shows Farscape. I know Farscape. I've seen it. I've seen some shows. I never really watched a ton of it. Oh, you know what? How can I forget Bear in the Big Blue House? I love Bear in the Big Blue House too. Me and my son, every night, me and my son, my oldest, we sing the goodnight song or the goodbye song, I guess it is. We Yeah, I how can I forget about that show? Uh and what's funny is my favorite out of Bear in the Big Blue House is Pop of the two otters of Pip and Pop. I know that sounds weird. How can you pick one of basically the same thing? Well, he has more personality than Pip. Um and then me and my son, anytime we have to pick up, we sing "Clean Up the House," and that's my favorite song from Bear. How can I forget Bear in a Big Blue House? Yeah, and we even have the soundtrack and everything, and we listen to it every now and then. Do love that show. Dinosaurs, I watched that show. I haven't watched it in a long time. I don't know if it's aged well, but I do remember that one. I remember it had some weird episodes. John Cena should get cast in new Blues Clues. Is he gonna play the Steve part? Let's see. Since you don't want your kids around Brad, maybe you and him could either watch The Girl in the Spires or Overlord while Laura take your kids to see The Grinch. You know, The Girl in the Spider's Web and Overlord are definitely two movies I'm looking forward to. And when I'm in a weird mood, I love Girl and the Dragon Tattoo, the new one or the newer one. So I'm looking forward to that one. Overlord just looks cool. Um, I don't know if Lord want to. My kids are the type of kids that you definitely have to sit them together and have someone on two different sides because one will want to go one way and one will want to go the other, and you're not going to finish the movie. Dinosaurs does hold up. You know, it's one of those that I wouldn't mind taking a look at again. Favorite podcasts. I don't listen to a ton. Uh, I used to when I was bigger. I mean, I can't say I'm not into wrestling anymore, but I just haven't. I'm not as into it right now. I used to listen to a lot of Jim Cornette. Um, if I listen to anything the most, I'd have to say it'd probably be Joe Rogan. Being a big MMA fan, I listen to a lot of him. I don't really download the podcast. I usually check it out on YouTube. They always have clips and stuff like that. Now he always seems to get like the people that everyone wants to hear. Sometimes he has guests on there that I don't really have any interest listening to. But anytime they do especially when they do like the ones where they're watching the fights, doing the analysis and things like that, I enjoy those. Um, but yeah, I don't listen to a ton of podcasts. Yeah, I wish I had time to listen to more, but I used to listen to more podcasts when I was traveling more because I'd download them and they would last me the whole trip. Um, I used to listen to Steven Larson when I was into wrestling. I just haven't really had a chance to listen to a lot of podcasts. I don't know if I consider a podcast more of a radio show, but I do download it over the podcast thing. There's a show out of Michigan and they have a national radio show. It's Free Beer and Hot Wings. I listen to them a lot because they're on our local station too. So I listen to them there too, but I download their stuff and listen to it in the car. What was my first Disney? What was your first Disney movies, anime live action? Honestly, I don't remember. I remember seeing a lot of them in the theater when I was a kid. The one I really remember seeing in theater would have had to been 101 Dalmatians, I think. I don't know if that was my first, but that's the one I remember. Um, let's see. The backpack leashes. Believe me, I have considered it. Um, I don't know if I'd want to say it was inhumane, but man, I could imagine. I can tell you this: when my kids want to run now, I will grab a collar, of their coat or whatever. Um, but yeah, they definitely like to run in different directions. Favorite film in the Disney animated canon. My favorite Disney movie of all time is The Lion King. I also love Aladdin. Um, I finally got to see Lion King in the theater. I didn't get to see it in the theater the first time. Did get to see Aladdin in the theater the first time. Uh, but yeah, Lion King's my favorite. Let's see. Wonder why Brad's friends that live in Springfield like Sarah, Dave, Jake Irving. Yeah, I don't know why they don't have their own YouTube channels. I think a lot of them are just happy working with him. I don't know. I've met most of them. But yeah, they're probably just happy working with him. So, well, guys, I think that's going to be it for the stream tonight. If you have any more questions, definitely leave them in the comment section when this thing finally posts. I'm not sure how long it'll take this one to post, but thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I'm planning on probably trying to do this every other Wednesday at 7. So uh, then that's 7 Central Time for those of you that don't live in the Central Time Zone. So we'll try to do it every other Wednesday at 7, pending any any issues. Definitely follow me on Twitter. If I tell you what, if I had enough people on this channel, I could have one of those little, what is it, the YouTube postings where you can just post little messages or whatever. Um, but to follow what I'm doing on here, if you want to know what's going on, definitely follow me on Twitter because that's where I put most of my information. That's the real Gino, the same as the channel. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Desiree, good night. Ryan, good night. Uh, but anyway, I appreciate you guys watching, and you know, a little slow start for me today, but I'm still getting used to this live stuff. If you, it may not look it, but I am extremely nervous when I do this. So thank you guys so much for your kind words, and thank you so much for watching. See you later.